You are tuned in to Big Boys and Body Slams, three goofballs that talk about wrestling. Throwback and current day pay-per-view reviews. Follow us on Twitter at BB and BS Podcast. And while you're at it, check out our merch store and our Patreon page. All the links will be in the description below. Enjoy the show. What is up, Olga Maniacs?
Hey.
And welcome to another episode of Big Boys. I gotta get my papers ready. And Body Slams. How the devil are you?
Oh, we're pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, rock on.
My name's Zach. Over here we got Kyle.
I'm still here.
And over here we got Luke.
Kyle, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Who's that jumping out the sky?
R-E-Y
Mysterio.
Mysterio.
Here we go. Oh my god. There were so many old themes in this one that I missed, and yeah, I love this shit.
Oh, I wrote that down in my notes, how much I love that theme song.
There's a few in here that I just really miss.
Yeah, speaking of this show, we got a fun one for you guys today. Again, we're piggybacking off of Something to Wrestle for the second week out of 3.
Well, and word on the street is a certain Bruce Pritchard got hired on at WWE.
I guess we
That's
should address
crazy,
that.
yeah.
If you're a WWE fan, nothing at all of note happened this week. Oh, wait.
A lot of things,
A lot of things of
A
note
lot of
happened this week.
releases, a lot of signings.
3 superstar talent releases.
Who were they?
One of which was a surprise. The other 2 you kind of could see coming. Of course, TJP, which was the surprise to me.
Right.
TJP, Ty Dillinger, and Hideo Itami, who was finally granted his release from the company. Thoughts on those 3 names being let go?
Honestly, I don't think TJP or Ty Dillinger are really like a needle-moving move for an AEW or an Impact or a Ring of Honor. But I think Hideo Itami could be...
You don't even know his name.
Yeah, but Kenta.
Wow.
Kenta.
Yeah.
You know, most people don't know him as Kenta, but, you know, he would be a needle-moving guy for someone.
So I heard, so Kenta has a 90-day no-compete clause.
Yeah.
They all do.
Do they all?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask.
And it all ends before Double or Nothing.
You really don't think that TJP can make a difference?
I think TJP could be he's extremely
He's
talented.
extremely
Yeah.
talented, but is he a needle mover?
What do you mean by that? Just like someone who's going to up the product?
I mean,
Yeah,
for AEW for sure, because I feel like
Yes.
they need all of the big names. If you saw some of the people that they signed in the most recent batch of sightings, and it's, to be honest, it's kind of a bunch of, and I'm nothing
Some
against
miscellaneous?
nothing against the people they signed. I'm sure they're all great and fantastic, and we'll get to know them and love them. But a large part of them are, who's this? Like, who's that? Where'd they come from? So I think TJP. I mean, if you think
He's
about
good. I'm not
if
saying
you think
he's
about
bad.
that, even going back to Impact, you know.
Well, he was the first ever Cruiserweight champion, right?
Yeah, he won the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah.
But I mean, out of the 3, he'd have the least.
I
amount
agree.
Of
No, I
impact
agree. I agree.
Somewhere.
Sure.
I agree.
But I really think if Kenta goes to an Impact or to an AEW, he's going to tear it up because he's doing a watered down style right now, right?
Do you not see him hopping right back to New Japan?
I think he'll go back. I would say Pro Wrestling Noah, but with their WWE affiliation, it might be a bit dicey there. I think New Japan is a likely spot for Kenta, but that's just me totally. Like, I don't have sources or anything.
But even if he did go back to New Japan, he could still work.
They need a New Japan. Like,
yeah.
they've lost a lot of talent in the past couple months. And they need somebody who's going to move that needle too. Like, that's kind of the forgotten thing in all these signings and people going all over the place. The New Japan's kind of getting gutted right now.
And you got to think too that Kenta's kind of being forgotten about how great he was before he went to WWE.
Even in WWE, he had his moments.
But I mean, beforehand though, he was like the guy.
He was like the biggest international star.
Yeah.
That was not signed to WWE.
Somebody better
for a
recognize.
while. And then obviously the other one's not a total surprise is Ty Dillinger. I'll be honest. I was never a huge Ty Dillinger fan. Nothing against the guy. Like, he was fine, but the whole 10 thing, like, never really did it for me.
Right.
But again, and the weird thing is, like, WWE, like, seemed a little bit salty because they weren't even future endeavoring these guys. The tweets were
Like
just
they did
like,
with Dean?
yeah, the tweets were just like, see ya, like, you're gone. So I don't know. We'll see where these guys end up.
I do think out of all of them, the most likely one to hit AEW would be Dillinger because of his relationship with Cody.
Okay.
They're pretty good friends.
True. I don't know why, but when I think Ty Dillinger, he just seems like an Impact guy to me. I don't know why.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I get that.
I can buy that.
But again, his relationships, might. Yeah, go ahead.
So Kyle and I talked about this morning. You were talking about WWE not wishing the best in their future endeavors. Well, they hired Bruce Pritchard as like head of creative, right?
Yeah, he's going to
like
be
the right-hand
he's essentially
man.
going to be Vince's right-hand man
Again.
which was
So,
huge news for me.
Is this a sign that they're a little insecure about this new up-and-coming promotion?
Oh, 100%. And I think...
Are they hitting the panic button already?
I don't think they're hitting the panic button. Well, if you trust the backstage reports that Vince has been losing his mind and is scraping for anything for WrestleMania, which kind of led to why the NXT guys got called up with no build-up whatsoever.
Which I hate.
They might be pressing the panic button a little bit.
I hate that as
and
well.
there's a couple other moves I wanted to
Extremely.
mention as well. So obviously Bruce Pritchard.
I want to say something about Pritchard, though.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of people out there who are like, AEW is just a t-shirt company and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you guys, how many stadiums is Old Navy selling out right now?
Right.
So
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, this is more than a t-shirt company.
They've got a website.
Right. Yeah. That's how you know they're legitimate.
Jesus. So what I'm trying to say, though, is I think some of the fans are very underestimating them, and I think WWE might be overestimating them, which isn't a bad thing.
Sure.
But again, how great is Pritchard going to be now? Like, he hasn't been working full time since he left Impact.
A guy
in
who still
2010.
prefers old-fashioned traditional wrestling.
And with a more fast-paced AEW coming out, are the fans going to turn more towards the Young Bucks and the Pentagon and the Kenny Omega style, or are they going to go to the slow, methodical, old WWF style? Maybe?
I think it's important to delineate and I don't want to get too far off track, but it's our show, so you know what? Let's do it.
Do it.
I think it's important to delineate between the creative side and the actual match production.
Yes.
Because those two things aren't mutually exclusive anymore. And I think you'll still see the same in-ring style, and this show tonight was a really good example where creatively there was a lot going on. And not all of it worked, but there was a lot going on and a lot of kind of interweaving stories and a lot of logical sound booking that's what I'm looking forward to coming back to the product. Because watching this show, and obviously I'll talk about this later, but watching the show we watched tonight, who Bruce Pritchard was obviously the head writer of SmackDown at the time, watching this show, this was the February show, again, we're on the road to WrestleMania, you could tell where they were going from this show onward. Like,
Yes.
And even going back to the Survivor Series 03 that we watched, they were planting seeds for this show in that show and going forward to WrestleMania. That's the kind of thing that is sorely missed right now in WWE.
And I think Pritchard can bring that.
That's what I'm hoping for him to bring.
Extended booking, yeah.
Two more things on Pritchard. I hope his show's not done.
Same.
Because they promised me a Seattle show and they haven't been up here yet, and I know I got to go.
Yeah, and
so friend of the podcast, Bruce Pritchard, you better still come to Seattle.
But if it does get canceled, friend of the podcast, Conrad Thompson, there's 3 goofballs that would love
to talk about wrestling with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. My other thing, though, is I really hope Pritchard does good because I want to see every company succeed.
Yeah.
And when I'm talking about companies succeeding, I just want to throw out there, United We Stand by Impact Wrestling is going to be coming up soon.
I cannot wait.
And it is a barn burner of a card.
And it's free on Twitch.
And you have the Lucha Brothers versus RVD and Sabu.
Who's got his Twitter suspended.
Sabu?
Yeah, Sabu is being a douche.
Big rip.
So hopefully Pentagon stabs him or something.
Okay, wow.
Then we have Sami Callihan versus AEW's Jimmy Havoc in a Monsters Ball match.
Okay.
And we have a Team Impact versus Team Mexico match, which is stacked.
Who was in that Monsters Ball?
Jimmy Havoc and Sami Callihan.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
and
dude.
then, I don't know, Eli Drake said he's not doing it, but Tessa Blanchard versus Eli Drake, and I want to see that.
The challenge was thrown out there, and we'll see if it comes to fruition.
Luke and I talked about this, and this is off track again, but it's our show.
Exactly.
Tessa Blanchard, where do you rank her in top women today?
In all of professional wrestling?
Yeah.
Top 10.
Definitely.
Easily. Maybe even top 5.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm at 5'6".
Sure. She'll be in that conversation for best in the world within the next 2 years, probably. If she
and Jordan
continues
Grace will,
the
too.
Oh, for sure.
Jordan Grace is 22 years old.
She's only 22.
And she is
I had no idea
incredible.
she was that young. Yeah, she's amazing.
They're both great. But anyways.
And then a couple more kind of WWE behind-the-scenes moves, I think, that are worthy. Arn Anderson has reportedly been released from his backstage role. Not a huge surprise. He wasn't doing a ton these days.
Was he just an agent? What was he doing?
He was producing. I don't know what.
And it sounds like him and Vince kind of got into it a little bit.
Yeah.
And the main guy who kept Arn around
was John Cena.
Isn't really there anymore as much. So it was Arn. It was John and Triple H that were really backing Arn Anderson. And once one of them was gone,
And Cody's giving that come here look.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cody's like, come here.
And interestingly enough, I guess you could kind of say the person who they called up to fulfill that role was Steve Carino, who is now going to be a main roster producer.
Isn't that wild?
It's awesome. I love it. I think it's a great
Would you
move.
have ever thought, seeing Steve Carino back in the ECW days,
that he'd be a producer for the main roster in WWE?
With Abyss?
Yeah.
Oh
and
my
Sanjay
God.
Dutt.
And Jeff Jarrett?
Yeah. I think that's all the news. Big week for the company. And
Just a big week in wrestling news. But
yeah.
If you need to get wrestling news, Big Boys and Body Slam, Slam Chat.
Slam Chat.
We're always posting stuff.
Facebook.
And if we don't get to it first, another member will. All these stories will be circulating on the group. It's the good place to go.
It's on Facebook, by the way.
Yeah, Facebook.com/Big Boys and Body Slam Slam Chat.
Also,
Great place to go.
You can
catch
listen
up.
to us on Google Play,
Yep.
Spotify,
Yep.
Apple Music,
Yep.
iTunes,
Yep, SoundCloud.
Yep.
Pretty much anywhere that you want to listen to your audio. Well, with all that said, it was a big intro this week.
Yeah, sorry about the long intro, but
Should we get into the show?
we do what we want.
Mm-hmm.
Should we get into the show?
Yes, do it.
First off, let me tell you that we're brought to you by Patreon.com/Big Boys and Body Slams. Patreon.com is not a donation platform. Not at all, not in the slightest. It is a membership platform because if you become a member of Big Boys and Body Slams on Patreon, you're getting some cool stuff in return. Big Boys and Body Slams at the Movies, a movie review monthly series where we look at a wrestling-related movie review, and we just kind of rib it, tear it apart if it deserves it, praise it if it deserves it as well. You're also going to get your name in the credits in the video version. The highest level, you can actually get your name called out right here, audio, on this podcast. Go and check it out, patreon.com/Big Boys and Body Slams. Guys, it's going to be worth your time. Links are going to be down below.
So many paper slams for emphasis.
Oh, yeah. I'm fired up. This is No Way Out, 2004.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yes.
Do you guys know who sang the theme song for No Way Out 2004?
I know who produced it.
No, who was it? Who sang it?
Rey Mysterio.
He sang. I thought it said produced on Wikipedia, but I didn't know.
It's Crossing Borders from the WWE Originals CD.
Ah, okay.
Sick.
This is No Way Out, coming to us from February 15th, 2004, from the sold-out Cow Palace in San Francisco, California.
Daly City.
11,000 in
They said
attendance.
San Fran, but it says Daly City. It's like a suburb.
Yeah. This is where you might recognize the Cow Palace from several wrestling shows. Most recently, they had the last year's New Japan U.S. show was held.
And
at
you
the Cow
might
Palace.
also remember this arena from Showdown, Legends of Wrestling, the video game on PlayStation 2.
Thank you. I'm really
Oh my
glad
God!
you
No,
had
no!
that name.
Literally, no one else but you will remember that.
Do you
I rented
remember
that game.
Yeah,
Oh, I remember that game.
It's terrible, but the Cow Palace is like the main,
Dude,
the main arena.
My biggest thing with those games was their rosters were amazing, but the gameplay was just
it was
the most
garbage. Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
So right off the bat, and I don't know if you guys had to do this. I had to like went back.
Did I miss the video
three
package?
times? Yeah, because the show just starts cold. Here comes Sable and Tori Wilson. They saunter out to the ring, and by the way, guys, it's 2004. Why are we using Comic Sans for all the nameplates in this show? Give me a break.
Because Zach Kinston wasn't in the videography part.
I did not. I was like, what? That's like. Oh, anyways,
I just want you guys to know they're promoting a Playboy issue where they're together in it.
Yeah.
And Taz said he could read it all day.
Yeah.
Which, Taz, come on. You're
Taz.
not reading.
yeah. So they essentially come out.
Decent issue.
They're like, we're in Playboy. Have fun, and they leave. And
Well, they said welcome to No Way Out.
They were wearing their little black dresses, and they were like, "This is SmackDown," and they do
Yeah.
things the best.
Well, then they like teased that they were gonna like do something naughty because they're like, "There's nothing we wouldn't do for your entertainment."
But you're not going to see us
And then
again
they're
for the
just
rest
like,
of the show.
Have a good day, and then they just leave.
We didn't strip at all either.
And then we get a video package,
Blue balls.
and it's standard WWE stuff. It again, I liked it, but it's kind of my pet peeve where they're only focusing on the main event with
Hey,
like a little Chavo
Hey,
sprinkled
before
in.
you give it that the opening video package, hey,
Did I miss something?
Michael Cole and Taz. No, there is like a little intro from them first.
Oh yeah,
Michael Cole looks great.
yeah, he was really good this whole show.
Yeah, this was prime Michael Cole.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
don't mind me
Oh,
saying.
yeah.
Also, happy birthday, Hugo Savinovich.
happy birthday, Hugo.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing well, pal.
Yeah.
Friend of the podcast, Hugo. So yeah, we eventually do get the video package, but that cold open was bizarre. for
Yep.
me.
And BS.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Right after that, we're going to get a match, and that match is going to be the Basham Brothers with Shaniqua versus
Oh no,
Scotty 2 Hotty.
Shaniqua's in the match, not with her. She and Shaniqua.
Yeah, which the announcers didn't say, or the ring announcer didn't say, because he was like, this is going to be a handicap match, and it's the Basham Brothers, and then also here's Shaniqua. Like, he didn't say she was going to
Does
be in the
anyone
match.
remember the name of the ring announcer here?
Was it Tony Chimmel?
Tony Chimmel.
Is it
The one that always comes back when Edge is on the Hall of Fame stuff.
The Undertaker.
So the Bashams and Shaniqua are facing Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty.
Yeah.
And I have to make a confession.
Go ahead.
I have been very vocal about me not liking Rikishi and kind of hating Scotty's finishing move.
Okay.
This brought back some nostalgia, and I was excited to see them come to the ring.
It felt great.
And that's kind of the whole angle here is that after all these years, Scotty and Rikishi have finally they finally climbed to the top of the mountain.
They beat the injuries.
And they've won the tag team titles. I will say Scotty 2 Hottie, he's dressed like he doesn't care. He's wearing like Fox snowboarding pants with like Converse.
Yeah, he doesn't have the spiked hair.
I kind of love it.
But the crowd was hot for him.
Yeah. This is for the championships, is currently obviously held by Scotty 2 Hottie and Rikishi. So let's get into the match.
Let's play What Basham is in the ring right now.
Yes, which to be Michael Cole was on it, and
not at first. Not
at first, because Scotty and Danny start. Michael called him Doug, but it was Danny. He corrected himself though, so pretty quickly. So Danny goes to throw Scotty out, but then Scotty 2 Hottie skins the cat and recovers. There's a Hurricane Rana that drops Danny right on his friggin' head. Rikishi gets tagged in, and then Doug gets tagged in. There's an arm drag by Rikishi. And at this point, did you guys catch Michael Cole like being cute and like referencing the Beach Boys song Kokomo with like where you can watch
Bermuda,
this show?
Jamaica.
He was like, you can watch this show anywhere. Yeah, Bermuda, the Bahamas, anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, Michael Cole.
Yeah. I love it.
You can't get one past me.
I also noticed that.
You can't get that past me, Michael Cole. Anyways, Rikishi throws Shaniqua into the ring here for no reason.
Which he's delivering some stiff shots to the Bashams, by the way.
Oh, yeah, he is. He goes for the stink face to Shaniqua, but Doug comes in and breaks it up. And then Scotty comes back. There's a double down on a shoulder block. Scotty gets up first with a nice kip up. He goes for the worm, but Shaniqua knocks him down with a clothesline from the apron. Danny comes in at this point, and they're not letting Scotty get to his corner, kind of working him over forever here, being mean. And good tag team, whatever. There's an ankle lock to Scotty. I don't know where I was going with that. As Doug is tagged in. A jawbreaker to Doug, who then tags Shaniqua. She goes for a power bomb, but Scotty counters and then gets the tag to Rikishi. He takes out Doug and Danny. Rikishi tries for a bonsai drop, but he gets power bombed down by the Bashams, which leads to a Shaniqua near fall. Scotty takes out both Bashams with a dive outside. Shaniqua goes for a clothesline, but she gets a big boy Samoan drop instead, and then a bonsai drop. And then Rikishi eventually gets the pin after Shaniqua has to move her arms because they're under the ropes, and they retain in 8 minutes. This was kind of just a whatever tag team match, very average, nothing horribly botched or anything besides the that one Hurricane Rana, but it wasn't awful. I give it 2 stars. Oh, it wasn't. I've been listening to too much Taz.
A bunch of douchebags out there.
I give it 2 stars. I mean, you can watch it, you can miss it either way.
So I also gave it 2 stars. It was just what it is. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of your average SmackDown TV show match.
Yeah.
That just kind of opened the card. The crowd was super hot, though, for Rikishi and Scotty, which was cool.
Yes. And they teased the stink face and bonsai like 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What'd you think, Luke?
I gave it 2 stars.
Look at that.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
I enjoyed it, though. I mean, so Rikishi's thought of, 1, for switching gimmicks left and right. 2, for being the guy who shows his ass and rubs it in people's faces.
And also The Rock.
Oh, yeah. I did it for The Rock. Yes.
Yep.
But he's good. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, but I thought he looked good here. I mean,
I do too.
it wasn't a best match, and tag team wrestling in general in WWE was just poop right now.
Yeah.
The Bashams could have been better if they were booked better. I think they had some talent to them.
To be fair, we will see a much better tag team match shortly.
I agree. Actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Anything else to say?
Cole says you need a spatula to pry Shaniqua from the mat after the bonsai drop.
Oh, that's good. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah.
Cole.
And Nick Patrick was in this match.
Oh, Nicky P.
Hashtag FNP.
Friend of the podcast.
I mean, I beg to differ.
Nick Patrick.
We're going to start calling it the podcast?
The podcast. Yeah, this is a podcast. Don't be boosting my ass already.
Yeah.
Save it for later. Up next, we get a video package highlighting everything that's gone on with Jamie Noble and Nydia.
Wait.
Yeah, did I miss something?
Yeah, a little bit.
Also,
the announcers are speculating, is Goldberg coming here tonight or not? Because Stone Cold gave him a ticket and said, Bill, don't do anything.
And then the man went and got himself suspended. Well, which we'll get into all that for attacking Paul Heyman. Which I'd attack Paul Heyman too, you know.
Yeah. Now you can start with Nydia.
He's a heel. So we get a video package highlighting the whole Noble Nydia thing. Essentially, what happens? I loved this, by the way.
I love this storyline.
I remember the storyline vaguely, but
Me
seeing
too.
this video package was just like, man, I gotta go back and watch some of this stuff again.
I don't remember it that
So
much.
Noble is given an inheritance from a dead relative. I don't remember the specific.
I don't remember.
now.
It's a lot.
It's not important.
But he's going to buy some crazy shit.
So he is so excited because he's going to be able to give Nydia the finer things in life, such as dinner at Applebee's and running water in their single wide.
When he said dinner at Applebee's, I popped so hard.
I
that's
popped
my
for
life.
that, and then like right after that, when they go into the trailer and he turns on the faucet and he's like, "See, baby,
running wild.
Oh, that cracked me up. I busted up laughing. I thought that was great. But then Nydia kind of gets carried away and just keeps buying stuff. She's Noble accuses her of running him dry, and then there's a match where,
including a $5,000 mink coat.
yeah, which she ends up destroying in a wood chipper.
Which he asks for back, and then she brings a damn wood chipper out onto the stage.
Serious question: do you think she bought that wood chipper with Jamie's inheritance?
Yes,
I hope so.
Absolutely.
So eventually, there's a cruiserweight title match between Noble and Tajiri that goes awry, where Nydia ends up getting misted.
The black mist.
The black mist. So she's blind.
There's a difference between the green and the black people.
Yeah, and the black is the most severe of the mists.
What?
You should have inserted a comma there.
What do you mean?
There's a bit. What? There's a difference between the green and the black people?
No, in the mist.
What? Okay.
So, anyways, so now kind of the whole storyline going in is that Noble is kind of abusing Nydia while she's blind and using her to get advantages in matches, and she eventually gets her sight back and gets mad.
I don't think she was really blind. Zach.
No, it's all real.
Oh.
And so it sets up a match at No Way Out, but since Nydia was blinded, Noble is going to be blindfolded for the match, and that's where we are now.
You know what Tony Chimmel calls this match?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I wrote it down. A boyfriend versus girlfriend blindfold match. That is not a sentence you
We
hear
all
every
wrote
day.
that down.
I laughed so hard.
Match.
Because he said it so seriously.
I was sitting up watching it late at night, and I saw that, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
He had to have been rolling his eyes the entire time.
So as Tony Chimmel says, this is a boyfriend versus girlfriend blindfold match. After a brief argument, Noble finally puts on the blindfold and the bell rings. Nydia takes a shot at Noble, who doesn't appreciate it, and he kind of takes off the mask. Charles
Smacks
Robinson,
the piss out of
Lil
Noble.
Nate says, put it back on, and he does. She trips him up and then hits a basement dropkick, kicks him in the ass a couple times. Noble corners Nydia and goes like he's going to grab her tits, and then
Bosoms.
He turns around, though, at the last second, allowing Nydia to get free and pants him. She hits a bulldog after that for a near fall.
A cool bulldog.
Yeah, it was a cool looking
nice,
bulldog.
yeah.
Noble grabs Nydia's leg, but then she counters that into a little Hurricane Rana. Noble rolls outside, gets baseball slid into by Nydia. She does a humping motion behind Noble when it gets back into the ring, and then Noble grabs the ref on accident, and then turns around and takes down Nydia. And then Noble grabs Nydia's hair and just rips chunks of it out.
Hey, no, she pulled away. Okay?
Yeah, she did.
It was her
but,
fault.
Man, she had some fistfuls of hair, and then Nydia's up top, and then while the ref is looking away and recovering, maybe, or I don't know what
No,
doing.
he was counting as Nydia was on top.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what he was doing.
How is that illegal?
I don't know.
They
'cause
always
wrestling.
start counting when they go to the top.
So Nydia's up top,
okay.
and Noble's kind of tucked in behind Lil Nate. He takes off the hood to see what's happening, runs up, tosses her off the top, and then puts her in the Dragon Sleeper. A good-looking Dragon Sleeper, by the way.
Seated Dragon Sleeper.
And causes Nydia to tap out in 4.5 minutes. So I couldn't rate this match very high, but I did have a lot of fun watching it.
Correct.
I gave it 1.5 stars. I would rather watch this than the first match, if it's any consolation, because it was fun, and it had some funny moments, and this story was just fun. So 1.5 for me. I couldn't rate it high because it was not much of a match, but it was fun.
I really enjoyed it, and I'm rating it on my enjoyment factor, and I gave it 2.25 just because I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. Jamie Noble's super underrated.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't ever know what happened to Nydia, but she wasn't bad.
No, dude, the bulldog, the drop kick was solid.
She had a
I'm
few
saying.
good-looking drop
Yeah.
kicks in this match.
So I really enjoyed this match, and I think, I couldn't give it below a 2. I enjoyed it way more than
you
a tag
definitely
team
could.
match.
You definitely could, pal.
What did you give it, Luke?
1 3/4, so
Okay.
just below a 2.
Right on.
It's the only reason you would watch this one over the first one because of Shaniqua being in the match, or
It was more entertaining.
It was more entertaining. I was more entertained.
Sure. But it's just so ridiculous.
It's just silly. It's just totally silly, yeah.
It's super silly, but it's fun.
It was fun.
And it
I had
had the
fun.
crowd pop. The crowd was more into it.
The crowd was hot for this.
I did really enjoy it though, and it was good that it didn't go on too long.
Yeah, it was 4.5. It was
Right.
a perfect length.
Yeah.
4-minute match. Up next, we get a flashback to SmackDown of Kurt Angle being assaulted by a mystery man, and then we cut to an interview where he's being interviewed by Josh Matthews.
Was that Josh Matthews or 16-year-old Justin Timberlake?
White turtleneck.
He was dressed
frosted
like
tips,
a boy band singer. That is
Frosted
the
tips and cute earrings.
That is very cute earrings.
Yes.
But that is the only way you can describe it. I actually called him Justin Timberlake in my notes because that is, oh man.
And
I was giddy over this.
And Kurt Angle is mad.
Kurt Angle's pissy.
Who hit me?
He says that it's obviously the Big Show or John Cena because obviously they're having a triple threat for a #1 contendership at WrestleMania later this evening. And it only makes sense that it was one of the two guys. If you were hoping for definitive proof, you're not going to get it on this show.
No. But who shows up?
Who shows up is
The
John
doctor.
Cena.
Hold on.
The doctor.
Yeah.
John Cena wearing a Willie McCovey baseball jersey. Rest in peace, Willie.
San Fran Giants.
Rest in peace, Willie. So Sheena shows up, says it wasn't him, and then slaps him, and they brawl.
He said if he's going to do it, he'd do it face to face.
That's right.
Also, in this camera view, it looks like he's wearing Johnny Gargano's logo on his hat.
Yes,
I didn't notice that.
I didn't know. I couldn't figure out what that logo was.
But it ended up being like 3 dots and then like a square.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Up next, we get another match. It's going to be the world's greatest tag team, which is, of course, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas
versus Kyle's favorite tag team.
Short-haired
what does that stand for,
JBL,
Dad?
the Acolyte Protection Agency.
Oh.
Hey, just a note.
Yeah.
Bradshaw looks good here.
Oh, yeah, he does, for sure.
Like this was in that going from chubby to kind of getting in shape to getting back to out of shape again. When he
A
was
year
JBL.
later, he challenges for the title at the No Way Out the following year.
Yeah.
Or not challenges. I think he's defending.
He defends it against
Yeah.
the Big Show. I believe in a barbed wire cage.
Yeah.
JBL wins the title like 6 months from now.
Yeah, and that amazing
so wild.
match.
Yeah.
Texas
the
Bull Rope
seeds
match.
are being planted.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So Bradshaw's arm is injured from the previous matchup between the two teams on SmackDown, where they just worked over his clothesline from Hell arm. So that's kind of the story going. There's more than that. This was actually like a very subtly told story in this match that I really appreciated. We'll get into it, and I'll kind of talk about everything.
And again, another great crowd. This crowd is great.
Oh, yeah.
They love the
They're
APA.
amazing.
They're
all
going
day.
nuts.
yeah.
all night. Farouk, you can start to see he's getting a little up there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Well, Farouk's going to be off TV in about 2 months.
He 45 here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So he's getting up there. So as they come out, Bradshaw's arm is taped up as he makes his entrance. So Farouk and Benjamin are going to start things off. Some mat-based wrestling, which clearly favors Shelton. A back elbow takes Shelton out, though, for a Farouk near fall. Bradshaw comes in at this point, hits a nice-looking swinging neckbreaker to Shelton, and then Haas comes in, and then Farouk comes back in. There's a double team to Haas for a near fall on like a little leg sweep back elbow combination here. Farouk throws Haas hard into the corner, who sells it great.
Might I say, Haas this whole time is selling like he's dying.
Oh, yeah, I love it. And then he throws him into the opposite one, and then misses. Farouk does, and a corner splash. Haas targets Farouk's arm.
Mrs. Farouk does.
So now, thank you. So now Farouk is getting his arm targeted as Haas and Benjamin tag quickly back and forth, all while the arm is still targeted. Really, really good work here. Farouk can't get to his side of the ring, and they keep isolating him. Smart tag work. The world's greatest tag team, at this point I wrote down, they make me miss American Alpha and what they could have been on the main roster.
Yes, I agree.
Because American Alpha, for as good as Haas and Benjamin are, Chad Gable is a better worker than both of them. I really believe that.
I don't know about
Dude,
Shelton Benjamin.
Stop it.
Gable's a really good
Shelton
worker.
Dude, Shelton Benjamin was one of the top workers in the world.
That was
at
the
one
greatest
point.
athlete that Jim Ross has ever seen. And he's seen a lot of athletes.
He has. Man, they could have been so much more. And even World's Greatest Tag Team could have had a bigger run, I feel
agree.
like.
I do
there was
agree.
something
They
left
were-
on the
I-
table
But
there.
when Shelton left and he beat Triple H on like 3 straight Raws, that was awesome.
yeah. That was when he was the gold
That was
boy or
before the
whatever.
gold standard.
Oh, okay. The gold boy. That's what I like to call it.
There's no stopping me. No.
So yeah, so that whole sequence really boosted my ass. Just the whole sequence of them isolating Farouk, because I don't know. I'll get into it in a second, but
Get into that ass boosting.
it might not have seemed exciting on the surface, but when you actually kind of pay attention, it was significant. So there's a big boot to Benjamin after Farouk manages to hit a spine buster and tag Bradshaw. Big boot to Benjamin, which the crowd popped huge for, by the way. And then a body drop to Haas. Powerbomb to Benjamin, and Haas comes in to break up the pinfall attempt. Farouk takes out Haas as they brawl outside. There's a second rope fall-away slam, last call to Benjamin. I said it. Haas gets involved and gets clothesline from hell. And Bradshaw hurts his arm in the process, leading to Benjamin getting the pinfall
Super kick.
off a super kick in 7.5 minutes. World's greatest tag team wins. So there was a lot of really good storytelling in this match.
The end of this match
was great.
The last like 3 minutes of
Was
this match
fantastic.
was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And that was tag team work at its finest.
So the whole story in this match, at least the way I perceived it, and it was subtly done. It wasn't the announcer shoving it down your throat, but it was the aging, brawling team trying to keep up with this young, technical, logically based,
You're absolutely correct.
younger team. And it was told so well, and it was told purely in the ring. Typically in wrestling, subtlety isn't the best, but I thought this whole match was very subtle, where the announcers weren't a few mentions, but they weren't shoving it down your throat. And it really started sticking out to me when they were isolating Farouk and working over his arm. I don't know, it just really stuck out to me. Like, man, like this is a really well put together match.
To be honest, most of this pay-per-view,
like
the ring psychology was phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree.
So what'd you give it?
I give it 2.75 stars. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Again, like I wish I could have had a couple more minutes. This with 3 more minutes. If this was a 10-minute match, it's a 3-star match for me.
Yep.
But what we got, I enjoyed. I just loved the storytelling throughout this entire match.
I gave it 2.75 as well. I loved it. And again, if you would have given it 3 more minutes, it would have been a 3-star match.
I agree.
So what's going to happen here is there's going to be a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania 20 for the tag team titles, and I believe Farouk takes the pinfall, and then Heyman basically fires him the next SmackDown. Bradshaw didn't stand up for him or anything, and APA is done, and then you start seeing JBL
be a little prick.
Yeah. Luke, what did you think of the match?
2.5 stars. I really enjoyed it, and like you said, the ending was super good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally got the same thing. You could tell that they were really, especially with Charlie Haas screaming bloody murder. You could tell that the APA were, being told as that brute tag team.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, just the bar bruisers that they always were, but like they accentuated that. I felt.
Yeah, it was really well done.
And the entirety of the match, Haas and Benjamin were being technical and just isolating and being the world's greatest tag team, which I miss a lot. Actually.
Me too, man. They were,
and it's funny because
good.
it's funny because the world's greatest like they showed one aspect of their working style.
Yeah,
like Shelton Benjamin, like they have a whole nother part of it with the high flying and that sort of thing that they just didn't show off because they
didn't need to.
No, they need to tell a certain story.
Yeah.
So 2.5. It could have gone a little longer though.
I agree. So after that, we get a shot, and Goldberg is confirmed. He is in the building. Of course, he's suspended, but he's able to come to the show as a fan.
He's not just in the building. He comes down the ramp, right?
Surrounded by security. He's got his front row ticket that Stone Cold lovingly gifted him.
Cole, and the crowd's going nuts.
When you're a fan, you don't actually enter from backstage. That's not how that works.
Are you sure?
Not completely.
Okay. Maybe the Cow Palace is different. I don't know.
There's only one entrance to the Cow Palace.
That's true, as Pritchard taught us on
something.
That's true.
The podcast. Michael Cole does kind of say something kind of funny when he's like, so Taz is like, kind of like, you can't let him in here. He's been crazy. Taz has a point, and then Michael Cole says, legally, you can't do anything about him being a fan. But yes, you can.
Yeah, because
if you don't want him there, he doesn't. You can't.
Fans do crazy stuff and get kicked out all the time, like wear AEW shirts. So, God, if Goldberg just had an AEW shirt, they could have just kicked him right on out.
I thought that was funny though. Michael Cole was like, "There's nothing we can do about it except kick him out." But
also, this reminded me a lot of. As this segment goes on, this reminded me a lot of the brand split initially and how it made even the face commentators for both sides have like heel tendencies because it's just like, what's he doing here? That piece of garbage. Raw sucks. SmackDown's way better.
Yeah, that's kind of what's happening here. So then we cut to a quick video package just showing everything going back to Survivor Series. They didn't go back all the way to Survivor Series, but they kind of alluded to it. The crowd did anyways. With Lesnar and Goldberg having some issues dating back to the Rumble when Goldberg says he's going to win the Royal Rumble because he's in at 30. Brock Lesnar says, haha, not so fast, pal. And comes in and, of course, beats him up, allowing him to get eliminated. That's how we got where we are now.
Kurt Angle eliminated Goldberg, by the way.
Yes, he did. And the crowd starts a "You Tap Dat" chant, which that is going back to Survivor Series when he tapped.
He did indeed tap
to
out.
Angle. And then Heyman makes his way to the ring. Now.
And Heyman is just pissed.
Heyman's on fire. He calls out Goldberg, who's obviously sitting in the front row now.
Who do you think you are, Bill?
Did you guys notice what shirt Goldberg was wearing?
Santa Slay.
Santa Slay shirt.
Yes.
What a movie that is. If you've never seen Santa Slay, I believe it was a Spike TV movie, right?
I've never seen it, but I just heard it was hilarious.
It's great. There's a scene I remember very well when he sharpens a candy cane so sharp that he's able to like stab a person to death with it. So that's what you want out of your Christmas movie.
Indeed.
So Brock welcomes Goldberg to SmackDown, says that it's the better show and that Goldberg is going to get arrested if he leaves his seat one time.
You're Goldberg. Well, I'm Heyman.
I love your Heyman. As this happens, Lesnar like moseys out to the ring.
Yeah, just like walking very slowly.
No music or anything. And obviously the "You Tap Dat" chants happen now. Brock calls Goldberg out. Goldberg staying put.
Well, okay, wait, he's saying, "Bill, come on in here," and Paul's like, "Don't do it. Stop it,
He's
Brock.
like, "Brock, don't do this.
Don't listen to him. No, don't listen to him."
Eventually, though, Brock calls him a bitch, and once you get called a bitch, it's like it's on.
Sit there and be the bitch you are.
He also
says.
called Stone Cold a bitch at the same time.
That's true.
So I really wish the ATV would have just came out and it would just been a collective ass.
We got to that later on in a couple episodes of SmackDown.
Sure.
So eventually Goldberg does come out. He gets in the ring. So security doesn't come out right away as Brock and Goldberg just start fighting, and then Heyman is going crazy out of the ring.
Security, help!
Yeah. So Brock goes for the F5. Goldberg counters it into a jackhammer. This is when Paul is just like gonna have a heart attack. He's so worked up.
It reminded me of like in Looney Tunes, and I think it's like Daffy Duck or someone that was just screaming.
He was freaking out. So eventually, like 3 of the sleepiest security guards I've ever seen make their way to the ring.
Yeah, that's what it was 4, and it was the most non-threatening looking.
Can I ask you?
It was like 4 old guys.
So the security guards arrest him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've never seen somebody get arrested and their theme music starts playing as they're taken away.
Started playing, and then they're doing Goldberg chants as he's like arrested.
The crowd is hot,
so loud.
Yeah,
this crowd
over his music.
I can't put this crowd over enough.
They were great.
They were fantastic.
Yeah,
but
crazy.
So
especially since there was only, well, I mean, it's not only, but there was 11,000 there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a huge WrestleMania crowd.
Right. But yeah, Goldberg gets arrested. His music plays as he's walking away in handcuffs, and then Hardcore Holly comes out, intimidates Brock, who runs away.
I want a piece of that Brock.
Chased him away, which does lead immediately into our next match, which is going to be Hardcore Holly versus Rhino. So Rhino runs out.
The fridge.
Yes, and they get going right away. Back into the ring, there's a long headlock by Holly to start the match. Holly chops Rhino and then tosses him out. Yes, go ahead.
I just noticed as Rhino was coming out.
Yeah.
How cool the stage was.
Oh, it was great with all the chains.
The chains all around.
And then the big lock.
Lock up
I loved
there.
it. Yeah. I every time I see these shows from like this era and even going back to the Attitude Era, man, I miss those custom pay-per-view sets so much.
RT if you cry every Tim.
RT. Thank you. So thank you. Holly gets drug out now and rammed into the apron. And we get back into the ring. Rhino's in control here for a long time. There's a knee to the gut for a near fall. Rhino spits on Holly, hits him with a big right hand. Hardcore fights back with a back suplex, but he can't capitalize and getting set hard into the corner. Both men are down now. I love this. So they cut to audio of the Spanish announce team, and then Taz is like trying to take control back, but they just keep cutting him off. It happens like 4 times.
Yeah.
Where Taz is like, "All right, thank you," and then Hugo just keeps going, and he's like, "All right, I don't know what you're saying," and he just keeps going.
Cole's like, "You don't know what they're saying, do you?"
He's like, "Nope." I love that. That was so funny.
Well, he was like, yeah, what'd they say? They said, yeah, you like my suit. Or something like that.
Holly's fighting back, hits a clothesline and a dropkick to Rhino for a near fall. Holly goes up top, but Rhino climbs up after him, hits a superplex to Holly for a super duper close Rhino near fall. There's an inverted DDT by Holly for a near fall, and then Rhino with a big boy spine buster. He hits the goal right after that, but Holly rolls out of the ring smartly to avoid getting pinned. Holly barely beats the 10 count, but he does and gets back into the ring. He manages to hit the Alabama Slam onto Rhino for the
reversal.
Win. Yeah, in 10 minutes. Yeah, Hardcore Holly is your winner.
I guess how many times does the Alabama Slam hit where it's not like a counter? I feel like it's a counter most.
At least 2, probably.
Okay. Thanks, man.
You're welcome. So I really, really wanted to like this match.
It was not good.
Nope.
It had its moments, right? It had a couple decent spots, but it was just so slow in between. I gave it 2 stars because there were some spots that kind of popped me a little bit, but man.
Buffer match.
Yeah, exactly. 2 stars for me.
I gave it 1 3/4. I found myself bored like in the middle of the match because they were just doing rest holds the whole time. It's not a good idea to put 2 guys with broken necks recently that are probably
which the announcers put over too,
right,
by the way.
These 2 had both just had broken necks, so they probably don't have the best cardio right now. So you maybe should put somebody else in the match. But these 2 were just so slow and they couldn't keep it up.
I got an idea. Let me beat Brock Lesnar. All right, go ahead.
Oh, I gave it 2 stars. I think it's your turn.
I gave it 1 3/4.
Okay, yeah, I gave it 2 stars. It was whatever.
Cool.
But it's funny that once you still rated Jamie Noble and Nydia in a boyfriend versus girlfriend blindfold match.
Well, I enjoyed that.
Hey, when do you think we'll get the next boyfriend versus girlfriend blindfold match in WWE?
Well, Kyle, you gonna book it? or what?
Pritchard's back.
Oh,
so
yeah, in the WWE.
It could happen.
Maybe we'll get Eli Drake versus Tessa Blanchard.
In a boyfriend, but they're not dating.
Well, they could be.
Things could change by
True.
Maybe the writers will change it.
True. So up after that, we got a video package outlining the Chavo heel turn on Eddie Guerrero, who ends up killing him after the Bashams beat him up after a match. So the whole story is tired. Chavo is tired of living in Eddie's shadow. He thinks Eddie is nothing but a loser and an addict, and that he's the superior Guerrero, and he's going to prove that with his new attitude. One day, it turns out that Eddie's laid out backstage. Ray has decided that it was Chavo and Chavo Sr., so he attacks them. Chavo proclaims his innocence, which sets up a match for No Way Out for the Cruiserweight title that Rey Mysterio holds this This is when I started to notice how much of the storylines were intertwining on this show.
A lot of
and
them.
how much of it was planting seeds for WrestleMania. And it was just, man, and maybe I was in a delirious state watching this last night when I watched it, but this was one of the like most smartly written creative shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because the way everything intertwined, and it all felt natural and it didn't feel forced. It all felt believable to me. And starting here is when I really noticed it. But even throughout the whole show, there were moments where you could just kind of see where things were going and things were intertwining like so smartly. And I loved it.
Also, Chavo was big mad that Ray got to have a song on as a way out official theme song, and that he was on magazines.
Yeah, that made him really mad that he was on the cover.
And he wears
of
a
SmackDown
mask,
magazine.
so he's not a man, even though culturally the mask is cooler than okay.
Well, and then they were talking about how like Chavo was fighting for like the Hispanic culture, and he was like a better Hispanic than Ray was. But like then he trashed.
Luchador.
Yeah, but then he trashed the mask, and it's like you can't have it both ways, Chavo. Anyways, let's get to that match.
Hey, and then there's a really creepy Undertaker promo.
Oh yeah, before their entrance was made, we get the gong, some spooky looking stuff, and then 28 days. Is it 28
yes.
days? Some amount of days
later.
And then we get the match: Chavo Guerrero with Chavo Sr. versus Rey Mysterio with Jorge Paez, who was
two-time featherweight boxing world champion
for the cruiserweight title.
And Jorge Paez is having a blast on the way to the ring.
He's just like mugging it up, yucking, yakking. He's just
He's loving it.
Also, he's got a Tyson Kidd haircut.
Oh,
so wouldn't that be Tyson Kidd has a Jorge Paez haircut?
It's true, because Tyson.
Yeah,
was a
but
boy.
we're talking about Jorge right now. It's semantics, bro.
So this match is for the cruiserweight title that Rey Mysterio currently holds. So they size each other up as the bell rings. There's a snapmare by Chavo, who tries to rip Rey's mask off directly after that.
Rude.
He fights it off and sends Chavo outside. Chavo has lots of heat here as he's kind of catching his breath on the outside. The crowd hates Chavo, which, I mean, you turn on Eddie, that's like he's the man. You can't do that.
Sucks.
There's a leapfrog head scissors to Chavo, which was super nice by Rey. Roll up for a Rey Mysterio near fall. There's a drop kick to Rey for a Chavo near fall right after that. Rey tries for the sunset flip off the bottom rope, which was pretty cool. But he hangs and can't get quite to it, but then immediately kicks Chavo and hangs him on the second rope. He hits the 619, but Chavo Sr. pulls Rey off before he can hit the West Coast pop. And then Paez gets involved, and one punch, and Chavo Sr. is dead.
I love that.
He winds up the right.
He does it like
and then he just left hand jabs him down.
He's like, yuck. He's like a Three Stooge.
I loved it, though, because of how realistic that was.
Yeah.
Because Chavo Classic cannot take one punch from Jorge Paez.
It's India. He's dead
Chavo
after that.
Classic.
That's what he was called.
Paez gets ejected, so he's back to the locker room for now. Chavo comes to, and he goes outside to check on Chavo Sr. He's kind of being mean to him. Like, get up, old man. But he instantly gets his receipt after a big springboard plunger by Rey.
Beautiful.
It was amazing. He back into the ring. There's another springboard move. This time a leg drop to Chavo by Rey for a near fall. Chavo goes up top, but Rey's right after him. We get a weird-looking backbreaker. Really awkward-looking by Chavo. Both men are down.
It looked like he dropped him on the way down.
I think that's what happened. And like Rey took an awkward knee to like his midsection, as Michael Cole would say. Both men are down after that. Eventually, Chavo gets up, sinks in the abdominal stretch. Rey breaks free, hits a crossbody for a near fall. There's a modified single leg Boston Crab by Chavo. It's like a lion tamer almost, but he only has one leg. Yeah, it was good looking, whatever it was.
Single leg. Yeah, you're right.
Ray breaks free eventually. There's kind of like a test of strength on the ground, which gets counted into a sunset flip powerbomb for a near fall by Rey. Rey's on fire in this match, by the way. There's a gut buster by Chavo for a near fall.
Was that the tilt-a-whirl?
Yeah, it was a tilt-a-whirl gutbuster. It was really good. Chavo grabs Rey in a fireman's carry position and kind of just walks around with him for a second, but Rey fights back, and it's a nice-looking toe kick. There's a Rey head scissors to Chavo, who flies into the corner post, and then Rey hits the skull-crushing finale, or the stroke, or the inverted Russian leg sweep, whatever you want to call it, for a near fall. Rey slides underneath Chavo's legs and then like double kicks him.
That was cool.
That was really cool, yeah. And I lost my spot, but it was
double kicks him. It was really cool.
Thanks, man. Chavo gets beat up here for a second after there's a face buster, and Rey misses a springboard crossbody. Both men are up top. Rey fights Chavo off and then ends up hitting a super 18 feet in the air top rope moonsault.
I do have to say one thing.
Yeah,
he went very high, did not go very far. Chavo had to move into compensate.
Oh yeah, because he
save his ass.
He was like a foot away from the turnbuckle maybe when he landed.
Yeah.
Chavo gets his foot in the bottom rope to break up the pinfall at this point. Both men are trading strikes now. A Hurricane Rana plants Chavo into the second rope. 619, West Coast pop.
Booyaka, booyaka.
Chavo rolls right through, though, back into the modified single leg Boston Crab. Ray fights his way to the ropes. He goes up top. Chavo Sr. comes in and knocks him down while the ref is distracted. Chavo grabs a fistful of tights and rolls him up. Kind of rolls him up. At any rate, he gets the pin and the win. New champion in 17 minutes. I did miss one spot when I got lost. There was a cool looking apron DDT hit by Ray.
There was also a cool counter bulldog somewhere before there.
Oh, yeah. That was right around then. 17 minutes, and this was a really good match.
Was the seated senton the West Coast Pop, or was it the Hurricanrana like pin combo?
I think the West Coast Pop from the old video games was always different on each game.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one it was.
So, I mean, you're totally right, because a lot of my move knowledge definitely comes from Creator
Right.
Wrestler shows.
And also, Cole called anything after a 619 a West Coast Pop.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah, so if he went for a clothesline off the ropes, it was a West Coast Pop.
Whatever springboard move he hit after the 619, it was the West Coast Pop, I think. This match was really good. Match of the night so far at this point.
Yep.
I gave it 3.5 stars. It was long. It was good. It was told a good story. And then dirty old Chavo Sr. getting involved there. That dirty old man.
I gave it 3 3/4.
Nice.
I loved it. I think Chavo Guerrero might be one of the most underrated wrestlers ever. I think he's not respected well. I really liked everything about it. It kind of moved them both into new storylines. And I love that the Chavo Classic coming involved here, and the Jorge Paez, and then Paez knocking him out and getting kicked out. So I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
Guys, I gave it 4.
Nice.
Good.
Like I loved this match. 2004 era Rey Mysterio in my opinion, is prime. He is ridiculously good.
Oh yeah, everything looks effortless for him too.
Ridiculously good. Yeah, totally. Everything is perfect. I mean, now he still looks good now, but he's lost a step or two, and he's not that plancha outside to Chavo where it's picture perfect.
Yeah, he's a superhero. He's
also put on a ton of muscle now.
Yes,
which makes
just
it
like
so
Shelton.
so he can't do the stuff he used to do.
And has how many knee surgeries since then?
Oh, yeah, right. And along with the surgeries and knees.
Right.
But yeah. 4
really
matches,
good.
And I mean, they gave these guys time, and these two absolutely killed it. And I wasn't even mad about the dirty heel finish, because that's just
it worked
Chavo.
perfect.
Yeah. That's just Chavo Sr. and Chavo and their heel personas.
So just so you guys know,
yes,
Chavo Classic ends up winning the Cruiserweight title.
No, he does not.
Yes, he does. Involved in the storyline, and then guess who he loses it to?
Shannon Moore.
Nope.
Jamie Noble.
Very close. Jacqueline.
Very close for Jamie Noble.
I was literally going to say Nydia next.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, he lost to the Jacqueline.
So that's where that title was at that time.
Wow. Well, you know what? We were just talking about how wonderful this booking is.
It wasn't all perfect,
and then
right?
you just
Some
had to
stuff didn't
throw
work.
that
Some
powder
stuff
keg
didn't
in
work.
there.
So after the match, Justin Timberlake is catching Chavo for an interview backstage. Chavo says he's a hero, and Eddie is just an addict and
he's a loser.
Says there's a monkey on his back that he'll never escape.
He's going to fail again.
Pretty chilling in hindsight, knowing that that's what would come back and get Eddie in the end. Very, very kind of heartbreaking interview. In
also,
hindsight.
literally right outside of Eddie's dressing room.
Yeah, he's probably has his ear to the door. He's listening. He's like, "Oh man."
Yeah.
So Chavo says he's the best, and he proved it.
Hey, can I bring something up that comes out right after this?
Yeah.
They show a tail of our tape for our triple threat matchup.
I hope you wrote down the same thing I did. John Cena's career
highlights of PhD in Thugonomics when it has Kurt Angle 4 title reigns, Big Show 2 title reigns, and then PhD in Thugonomics for John Cena.
I popped for
the
that.
doctor.
And of course, as Kyle alluded to, we are going to get to Kurt Angle versus the Big Show versus John Cena for the #1 contendership at WrestleMania. Kurt rules. Just going to say that right off the bat. Kurt rules.
No, dude, Dr. Thugonomics John Cena was incredible.
And then we get Big Show, peak drunk Uncle Goers at this point.
But he did fine this match.
Oh, yeah.
He looked good.
They knew how to use him. Even during John Cena's entrance here. So this is, again, very early in the John Cena run. He hadn't even won any titles yet.
In 28 days he would.
Yeah, true. The U.S. title, which we'll talk about. But you can tell, even during his entrance, he has superstar written all over him.
They know, and they're doing that kind of slow build with him.
Yeah. So, of course, we get a freestyle, and Cena would grace us with such lines as, "I'm not the guy who's going to hit another dude from behind, and I'm not your right hand, Kurt. I'm not the guy who's going to whack you."
Can I give you the last 4 lines?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. He's referring to Big Show here. "Let's throw this whale back in the ocean. He can sleep with the fishes."
Yeah, he calls for Big Show to get murdered.
This isn't a triple threat. This is me serving 2 bitches. "No way out is my house. Check the chain and the lock. These fans hang on to my words. You too can swing on my
cock."
Yeah, Kyle. Yeah, we did it.
That boosts my ass, dude.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, classics, ridiculous, almost ECW level Cena freestyle.
Like Joel Gertner shit.
Just so you guys know,
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for the John Cena jerseys. So this is like the third time in my notes I wrote John Cena's wearing a Willie McCovey jersey.
Hey, just a quick reference. What jersey was John Cena wearing tonight?
A Willie McCovey
Thanks, man.
jersey.
Do you think he still got anything we can get it from him?
I bet he still has a bunch of these jerseys because these jerseys are not cheap. This
I'm
is
sure he
this is
does.
like a Mitchell and Ness
Yeah, I'm
jersey.
sure he does.
Well,
Unless production was just giving it to him that day. And be like, "Wear this."
or he knew some sites that I knew as well. I mean,
eBay.
there's some Chinese knockoffs.
Silk Road?
Pretty good looking jerseys. Not that I would ever buy them.
So
Are you promoting like a
Yeah.
black market on
I'm
here?
actually-
do we have a sponsorship I don't know about?
I'm actually not promoting anything at the moment, but I'll work on it.
So
It de-
Cena,
it
so
was
Cena
definitely
chills in the
Mitchell and
corner
Ness,
as
though.
the bell rings and lets Angle and Show go at it. Angle tries to get the upper hand, but Big Show is just too powerful and keeps slamming him down. Now it's Cena's turn to go for Show. Also, he cannot get the upper hand. Cena doesn't like Angle looking on and kind of jawing at him, so they start exchanging strikes.
Can I say that I do love? I mean, Big Show's the U.S. champ here, and every single title that Big Show comes out with when he's 500 pounds,
It looks like a toy.
it is.
It looks like the cheap, like not the fancy like replica you get. It
It's
looks
the
like the one you get
plastic
from Walmart. Yeah. There's an overhead.
he's a big
belly.
boy.
Oh yeah. Especially here. There's an overhead belly to belly by Angle for a near fall. Big Show tosses Angle into Cena, sending John outside. There's a sidewalk slam by the Big Show to Angle. Cena breaks up a pinfall attempt. Scoop slam to Cena by the Big Show, and then a big boy leg drop and another. Show goes for a third, but Angle catches him and throws him outside. Angle teases a German suplex off the apron to the Big Show, but he can't get it. Cena gets pushed over in the meantime by the Big Show, and then dick trauma for the Big Show by Angle. Now Cena gets drug outside. Cena's bounced off the steps, then rolled back inside the ring by Angle for a near fall. There's a back suplex to Angle, who promptly takes out Show's knees, sending him back outside. Three German series to Cena by Angle. Big Show breaks up the pinfall here. Angle gets sent outside. The Big Show kills Cena with a corner chop. John tries fighting back, but can't get Show down. There's a vertical suplex for a Big Show near fall. John Cena, I noticed at this point, is wearing Scooby-Doo underwear. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I don't know why.
What a legend.
I don't know why he was, but he was. And he also had some sick New Balances on, too. Cena goes up top, hits a flying elbow. Angle up top, missile dropkick, finally knocks the Big Show down. Cena breaks up the pin and sends Angle back outside. Cena hits the FU onto the Big Show to a big
Ooh, the
pop.
what?
The what?
The FU.
Oh, I thought that was called
The attitude adjustment onto the Big Show.
No, please call it the FU.
The FU. Angle
you.
comes in, tries for the Angle slam, gets countered into a DDT. Cena rolls Show over for the near fall. Cena gets sent back outside. There's an Angle slam to the Big Show for a super close near fall here for Kurt. Cena comes back in, and FU is countered into the ankle lock by Angle. Big Show breaks it up, hits a big choke slam to Angle. Big Show rolled up by Cena for a near fall. Cena gets chokeslammed now. Angle breaks up the pin. He sinks in the ankle lock. Big Show rolls over and kicks Angle away. Cena spine busts Angle and then hits the 5-knuckle shuffle. He goes for the FU, but Show takes out the knee that they had been working over ever since the Rumble. I should have mentioned that, but Cena's got a bad knee. And that
very well
Big
braced.
Show injured, yes. But Show takes him out when he goes for the FU to Kurt. Big Show lifts Cena and just throws him into the corner, like carelessly. I loved that. It looked good. There's an Angle slam to Big Show over the top rope and dumps the Big Show outside. Ankle lock on Cena's bad knee. He has no choice but to tap. And Kurt Angle.
Wait. What did he do? What did Angle do when he put the ankle lock on?
He cinched it in.
He laid down.
Yeah, he
on
laid
it,
down and torqued
Kyle,
the knee.
What happens when Angle lays down on it?
It's
It's over.
He wins.
It's over. It's
Every
over.
time.
Cena has no choice. He has to tap. And Kurt Angle's going to WrestleMania. This
So-
match went 12 and a half minutes. Fantastic match.
Just to point out, so Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero then end up facing Chavo and Chavo Sr. a couple nights later, and maybe a couple weeks later. Kurt turns on Eddie, turns heel. After the WrestleMania match, we see GM Kurt. Kurt's a GM of SmackDown.
Already?
And then he's wheelchair bound for a while, right?
Yeah, because he's the GM. he has a hurt neck, so he's the GM, and
Yep.
and Big Show ends up choke slamming him off of like a stage or something.
And his
I don't
legs
know.
like all angled.
yeah, it's super weird.
But then he's faking the injury, maybe. And he's got the American flag wheelchair.
I'm glad
That's
you
such a
remember this.
Oh
with
yeah, I
me.
remember it
That
vividly.
really is such a vivid memory.
I
This
remember
is-
it. Yeah.
This was like in my return to wrestling, where I was
Yeah.
watching Raw, SmackDown, Velocity.
I was watching
Heat,
SmackDown
pay-per-views.
Velocity.
I wasn't watching. Oddly enough, I wasn't watching Raw. I would watch it a bit, but I wasn't watching it every week. Probably every other week. But I would not miss an episode of SmackDown.
I would've
I was
missed-
a SmackDown guy.
My parents would make me go to bed, and I would tape
Yeah, I
the
used to
show.
tape
So
all
I
the
had the
shows,
tapes,
yeah.
and I would watch Raw and SmackDown every week.
Hell
But
yeah.
anyway, rate your match.
4 stars. Super, super good match. I was not pleasantly surprised because these are 3 legends, obviously, but I was surprised at how they worked the Big Show into the match so naturally, and
Yes.
it did not hurt it. It helped it even. So 4 stars for me. Just I loved it. I was a fan again. Like I was in it, man. I knew who
Yeah.
was gonna win, but I was in it. You know.
The crowd was too.
Yeah.
I give it another 3 3/4. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I've ever seen a Kurt Angle match that I didn't like. I mean, the guy can pull a bad match or a good match out of the Great Khali if he wanted to. He could wrestle.
Okay. Whoa.
Kurt Angle might
God.
be the most gifted wrestler ever.
You might be right.
What do you mean by gifted? Just the best wrestler or the most?
Well, he could do everything. He had all the
That missile dropkick was a beaut.
yeah. So I don't know why you're asking me what do I mean, but because he has all the tools.
Yeah, just the most talented.
Yeah.
Luke, what did you think of the match?
3 3/4 as well. Just because I couldn't, even though this was like 3 stars, right? I just couldn't rate it. Couldn't rate it above the Chavo Ray match just because it had all the time and it told way more of a story. But this match was it's pretty close to 4 stars. Too.
Yeah.
It's
So of course,
really good.
So of course, after this, you would see John Cena and Big Show go on to
WrestleMania 20.
fight at WrestleMania 20, when Cena would get his first title win, winning the U.S. title.
And then a year after that,
He'd be winning the WWE title.
from JBL.
Just
Yep.
a ton of near falls, and they had the crowd in the absolute.
Oh,
palm of their
yeah.
hand. Every near fall was just whoa.
This was it was
Good
great
stuff.
I loved it. So up next, we are getting Eddie
Our
chance already
main event.
before the main event even starts. There's a video package showing Eddie winning the SmackDown Royal Rumble, who eliminated last.
Kurt Angle.
Which again, just man, the intertwining and the booking and the plan. I don't know if this was their plan all along.
Well, and if you go back even further, before Eddie faced Chavo at the Royal Rumble 2004, Kurt was trying to get them back on track. Kurt was like, hey, we don't fight. You guys are family, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we're all family here. Let's love each other, but they didn't.
Yeah, again, just an example of just how on point the booking was here.
Also, I want to point out,
Yeah.
this is something that drives me crazy. Brock Lesnar came to the ring first. Champion should always come out last.
I agree. I don't know why Brock came out first either. Like there was no.
It drives me
That
crazy.
is like your absolute pet peeve.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves because
Really?
because in any other sport, well, boxing or UFC, the champion always comes out last.
He needs to come out. I agree. I think it was because they knew Eddie was going to get that pop.
correct,
Yes.
correct. And I knew he was going to get that pop.
But he would have got it if he came out first. too.
yeah, exactly. Just always been my pet peeve.
My pet peeve, similar to yours, is when they don't do championship introductions for these matches, which they did not do for this match. And I'll backtrack in a second to talk about this video
boy.
package. Brian Hebner threw the damn belt down. Did you guys catch that?
No, I didn't.
He held it up to the crowd and he threw the damn thing down in the corner. I hated that.
That damn Brian.
It was this really small detail.
Earl
but
and
like,
Dave wouldn't do that
Treat
shit.
your title with respect. Like that's supposed to be like the most coveted prize in professional wrestling. Don't throw the belt.
Hey,
man.
what did you guys think of this WWE title? By the way, this
It was fine.
I really liked
was this
this
the
one.
undisputed title.
It
This-
was. It
it
was.
Yeah.
But
then
now
they
it's a
would-
SmackDown
yeah.
title. It was the WWE Championship
After
because Big Gold was over in Raw.
Yeah.
Right.
So, anyways, we do get a video package. They didn't have a ton of time to build this match, but what they did do was great. So this video package just showing Eddie again winning the SmackDown Royal Rumble, and really impressive stuff here. They built it so well. They had a really cool moment where Eddie was cutting a promo on Brock saying that I am an addict. I am but I fought my demons and I'm addicted to one thing and it's being in the ring. And my
crowd
demons will always be there, but I
so
fight them
high.
off every day. And the crowd is just chanting Eddie so loud. And again, man, it just in hindsight, hearing Eddie say the things he's saying about how he beat his demons and he fought them off and he turned his life around, and to have that come back and haunt him after he beat it and after it was in the rearview mirror, to have that be what ended it. Like life's not fair, but that is just cruel.
I think that's just a big symbol of real life addiction and
Yeah.
how it works. And you don't just beat it.
Yeah.
That's something you live with for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Eddie's rest of his life was way too short. And man, I miss him so much.
Honestly,
He was my favorite wrestler when he passed, by
Sure,
far.
sure.
I cried
He was everyone's
I cried
hero.
like a baby. Well, when I found out that he died, and I was watching the Raw when they did the tribute for him, and man, I got goosebumps when he was when he was delivering that promo in the video package.
That promo was incredible.
It was amazing, and just even with hindsight now, knowing that like I don't know, it's just not fair. It's not fair. Life's not fair, but why Eddie? Like
honestly,
he'd be. There's people in the that have done way worse things that are still doing the bad things that'll live long, healthy lives. And
I just do want to point out though.
Yeah.
One of my absolute favorite things in the world was Brock Lesnar coming up with that mariachi band.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I went back and watched it because Pritchard had talked about it, and then they kind of had briefly shown it on this. So I went back and watched it, and I was dying.
Oh, it was great. And you had, like, the mariachi band could not stop laughing, like, the whole time.
Yeah, they're all laughing. Brock's wearing a sombrero, and...
I meant to comment this earlier in, like, the opening video package of the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Brock has Paul Heyman for a mouthpiece now, but here he was not
he
wasn't
could cut
a bad
a promo,
talker,
man.
man.
No, he whatever was. Also, he had personality back then, though,
ton.
which he doesn't really have now.
It's weird, dude. The world has hardened him.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's old, but...
So again, that's all leading up to the world title match. It is going to be Brock Lesnar, the current champion, versus Eddie Guerrero for the WWE title. The bell rings and the Eddie chant is
It's electric.
Rocking the arena here.
Boogie, woogie, woogie.
Eddie's in the corner getting stomped by Brock. A huge back body drop to Eddie by Brock, and the camera angle was in a perfect position because it was kind of looking up at Eddie, and it looked like he went 500 feet in the air. Like he almost went into orbit. He went so high on this back body drop.
Honestly, I mean, obviously Brock Lesnar's moveset here is just phenomenal, especially compared to now. But all of these slams are stiff. They're huge, and Eddie is selling them like crazy.
Oh yeah. Right after that, we get a snap suplex. Eddie fights back, but he just can't keep the upper hand. He tries for Hurricane Rana from up top, but Brock catches him, dumps him on his head, and then hits him with the powerbomb. There's an overhead belly-to-belly by Brock and another. Lesnar with a big leaping knee to Eddie in the corner. Really, really stiff-looking knee. Another big belly-to-belly by Brock. Eddie rolls out of the ring. This is what I noticed. How similar did this look to the current day big man, little man matches that Brock's been putting on?
Yes,
big time.
That's
Eerily similar.
That's what I was alluding to.
It's just the thing, man. He loves working with these little guys.
Yeah. This was built very similarly to some of those matches. The outcome was different,
Just
obviously.
way more moves.
Yeah. Brock
more
could
versatile.
Exactly. Instead of doing just Germans, he's doing freaking overhead belly-to-bellies, which I haven't seen him do.
Right.
Which obviously it's kind of a 50-50 thing for the move like that.
He was going for gorilla press slams.
Yeah. Eddie slams Brock's knee against the ring post several times outside, just kind of working over the knee. There's a delayed fisherman suplex to Eddie, who just gets held up forever in midair for a Brock near fall. Eddie counters a sleeper with a jawbreaker. Brock tries for the gorilla press, but Eddie fights him off, only to get killed with a clothesline. There's a German suplex to Eddie. He barely gets him over. Brock does, but he does. Brock goes for another jumping knee into the corner, but Eddie moves out of the way, and Brock just flies out of the ring.
You could see when Eddie was up there, he was calling the spot.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I didn't notice.
I didn't notice it either.
As he was like breathing, breathing out. And,
that's a good catch.
Yeah.
And then Eddie hits a springboard planche. Not a springboard. He just goes over the top rope for a plancha to Brock outside. Back in the ring, Eddie hits a basement dropkick on Brock's bad knee. Just keeps working it over. There's a back suplex to Brock, and then Eddie gets hot shot out on the top rope for a near fall. And then Eddie rolls over onto Brock's knee, transitions that into the STF. No, just the STF this time. Brock is hurting, and he's really selling really well here, and the crowd is super hot. Brock breaks free. Eddie tries for the figure four, but can't sink it all the way in. Eddie keeps going to target the knee, but Brock fights him off. Another belly-to-belly to Eddie, and then he gets back up and hits a really nice tilt-a-whirl head scissors to Brock, and then a basement dropkick. Just more targeting those knees. He gets the figure four.
This is around the time, by the way, when you hear Goldberg.
Oh, yeah, the Goldberg chant started around here, yeah. He gets the figure. Eddie does get the figure four this time. Lesnar eventually does get to the ropes. Very smartly, Eddie works the count. Eddie keeps working over Brock's knees here, sinks the STF in once again. As the German suplex by Brock, Eddie just gets destroyed with a friggin' spine buster. I thought he was going to go through the ring, but he didn't. He remained on the mat. That's a near fall for Brock. Brock's frustration is beginning to show here. There's a sleeper to Eddie, and right here I noticed Taz was doing a really good job at like explaining why the workers were doing what they were doing, particularly for the submissions. Like he was talking about how Brock had his body weight still down on Eddie when Eddie was getting up, and he was describing the way the STF works and why you put this pressure on. I don't know. I liked it. It was a good
dude. They were both Cole and Taz were on fire here.
Oh, especially in this match too. Both the commentary was on point in this match.
And he was just being so supplementary.
Yeah, for sure.
Calling moves and elaborating.
Yeah.
You're right.
Eddie breaks free eventually from the sleeper that Brock has in. He misses the top rope missile drop kick. Brock's really doing a great job selling his knee here. He hits a one-legged vertical suplex to Eddie, and then Brock's nose is bloodied from an earlier turnbuckle spot, making for a great visual when he just looks at Eddie with blood gushing out of his mouth and just starts yelling, "Just die!" Good stuff.
He does.
Wow. There's a gut-wrench suplex to Eddie, and my favorite thing about this was Michael Cole's like, "What a throw!" And then you have Taz like cutting through being like, "That was a really good gut-wrench suplex."
Yeah.
Lesnar with a waist lock on the mat, and he kind of rolls into several roll-up attempts.
It's like a gut wrench. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Just some like wrestling by Brock Lesnar.
Just a bear hug on the,
Yeah.
on the mat. Yeah.
Eddie reaches his arms out like he's calling to the heavens and makes his way to his feet, and the crowd is absolutely rabid
going nuts
at this point. And this was a great spot, great camera work, because you see Eddie like almost like he's calling to God to help him like fight through.
Yes.
This is when the goosebumps started, and
Yes.
they didn't stop for me the rest of this match. Like, what a moment this was. Not to steal Michael Cole's catchphrase, but it was what a moment. He finally gets up and he headbutts Brock a few times, takes him out with a basement dropkick, and then hits a head scissors to him. Brock is just selling like a champ here. Eddie gets the three amigos. He gets to his feet. The crowd is going nuts, and then he misses a frog splash, though. Brock lifts Eddie for the F5 and hits it, but he takes out the ref in the process.
Yeah, Eddie like swings and readjusts so that he kicks the ref in the face.
Hard, too.
And the F5 connects.
The F5 does connect twice. Brock grabs the title, brings it into the ring, and twice being he didn't hit two. It connected once with the ref and then once with Eddie.
Nice.
Thanks. Brock grabs the title, brings it into the ring. Before he can do anything with it, though, Goldberg appears, runs in, spears Brock, and leaves. Everyone's down. The crowd is just absolutely electric. He slowly rolls onto Brock, Eddie does, as the ref recovers for the nearest to near falls as Brock kicks out. Super glad the match didn't end there. The ref is dead again after he counts, though, as Eddie grabs the title. He misses the title shot, allowing Brock to try for an F5, but Eddie reverses it, counters a DDT onto the belt, and then Eddie throws the belt out of the ring. Eddie goes up top. He hits the frog splash. He makes the cover. Michael Cole is losing his mind. And Eddie Guerrero gets the pinfall in 30 minutes, and he is the WWE champion. After the match, he leaps into the crowd.
Hangs out with Mondo and his mom.
Yeah, he goes over to his mom. His mom is just crying at this point.
Is your ass just boosted right now?
My ass is, I am in the eye. My ass, I'm on the second story. My ass is boosted, dude. I had goosebumps. I had tears in my eyes as the celebration happened. This was one of the hottest crowds you'll ever see. I'm giving it 5 stars. I don't care if it's biased. This is a 5-star match.
Yep.
Man, Eddie had such charisma, and he had such a way to just make you want to root for him. And just the small, he did the little things, right? Like I was talking about when he held his arms up, and just the way he sold and the way he worked. So cool to see him win the title here. 5 stars for me. It was perfect. It was one of those rare moments when wrestling was perfect.
Yeah, I think the match was 5 stars. I think it was pretty much perfect. It's just a story. Like, the story that they played the whole match, like, you had that slow build-up for a little bit, and then you'd think Eddie was going to get going, and then Brock would get him, and then kind of like the current-day Brock.
Yeah.
And then the Goldberg thing was perfectly done.
It wasn't too much. It didn't
cause
finish.
Eddie the win. I mean, it helped,
Right.
but it didn't cause the win.
And
Right.
Goldberg's presence didn't overshadow anything.
No,
Right.
he was in and he was out.
Yeah, and he didn't stay around.
Yeah.
Which was great. The crowd was hot for Eddie and Goldberg. The crowd was so hot for both those guys. It was awesome.
Oh, it was amazing.
It kind of reminds me when Austin helped Foley win the title.
Exactly, yeah, because the crowd was just so hot for both of them.
Yeah. But anyway, keep going, buddy.
I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Luke, what'd you think?
I gave it 5 stars. I don't even want to nitpick, but I will say that they definitely did not land on that damn title with the tornado DDT.
Oh, no, they didn't, but I ignored it.
Yeah, they
missed
missed.
it. But I mean, we'll give it to them. Yeah, the storytelling was just
Perfect.
insane.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Countless near falls, and Eddie overcoming the odds in this match, against the disadvantage of Brock Lesnar is straight symbolism, for Eddie overcoming his demons and all that adversity. So 5-star match. It was just amazing, man.
Yeah.
What an ending.
And that is how the show goes off the air, with Eddie Guerrero celebrating in the crowd, just going home.
I love that the first
Super happy.
thing he does is jump
Leaps into the crowd.
Yeah. Just gets surfed.
Leaps,
And
yeah.
the security guards have to
Yeah, I loved it. And that's how the show goes off the air. Eddie Guerrero victorious. Man, we miss you, Eddie. Friend of the podcast.
Love him.
Eddie Guerrero. Miss you so much, man.
a ton.
What a show.
What would you give it?
The show?
Yeah.
Overall? So this is an interesting one because a lot of the wrestling wasn't the best, But I was so impressed with the booking throughout this show and just the interweaving story. Like, as I've just gushed about this whole time, like, the storytelling in this show was second to none. And it reminded you that, like, oh, yeah, wrestling isn't just flippy shit and big moves. It's storytelling.
Right.
And it's art. And that, like, it reminded me of that. And not to sound super pretentious, but it reminded me, like, of what I really love about wrestling. I'm going to give it a B. Just because everything that they were booking wise and that main event, right?
You gave it a B for boost your ass.
I gave it a B because it boosted my ass. I don't know. I love the booking, and you could see the writing on the walls, but not in a bad way.
So I gave it an A-, because that match is a 5-star match that everybody needs to see. Those last 3 matches are all
watch
fantastic.
the last 3 matches.
And
honestly.
the APA match as well, I loved. And the Jamie Noble Nydia was just so much fun.
You know what? I forgot about that APA match when I was rating it. B+.
Okay, so yeah, I gave it lower end of the A's, the A-, because I think everybody should watch most of this show.
Yeah.
Because I think that 2004, 2005 was a very special period, and I think I think this card was just fantastic. There's a lot of feel-good stuff, like Rikishi and Scotty finally having the belts, and you had the fun of Noble and Nydia, and then you had the storyline of JBL about the I guess Bradshaw turning into JBL. That's starting. Just really good, just really fun, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that, Luke.
Yeah, just Samoan headbutt that microphone. No, I gave it a B+. I really enjoyed it. However, when I went to grade this, I thought about the Hardcore Holly Rhino match. I thought about Jamie Noble Nydia. I thought about the first Bash.
There are definitely some things holding it back a little bit.
When I've given other things A- that are current product pay-per-views, and they had there's pay-per-views that we watched that there just is not a bad match. There just isn't.
Yeah.
And I gave those A-. But I would have given it a B if not for, like you guys have said, all of the booking, the fantastic storytelling. B+.
And how fitting that this is the show we reviewed the week that Bruce Pritchard gets rehired back into the WWE. Because now my brain is just filled with the possibilities.
Because he booked this.
Of what he could bring to the... Think about how...
He booked this shit.
Think about the athleticism and the athletic prowess of the current day superstars mixed with the storytelling that Pritchard could potentially be bringing. Guys, I don't want to overstate anything. But we could, my ass is about to get boosted. We could be on the cusp of something truly special in WWE.
And wrestling in general.
Yeah, and wrestling in general. So how fitting that this was the show we looked at this week.
Yeah. So do you want me to really boost your ass?
Please do.
Yes.
So next week we got Anarchy Rules.
ECW, baby.
1999.
Anarchy Rolls.
And I'll give you the card. So we're going to start out with Lance Storm versus Jerry Lynn.
Boosted. Oh. I thought about it for a second.
Already, huh? Wow.
Well, then Jazz versus Tom Marquez. Okay.
Forward.
Chris Chetty and Nova versus Simon Diamond and Tony DeVito.
Okay, back up a little bit. A little bit.
3-way dance to Jerry, Super Crazy, and Little Guido.
Boosted.
All right, I'm boosted. My
Justin
nips are getting
Credible versus Sabu.
Oh, my nips are getting hard.
Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka versus Taz in a triple threat.
Holy schmoly.
And then we got a tag team title match between Tommy Dreamer and Raven versus Rhino and Steve Corino.
Oh.
And then a main event of Rob Van Dam versus Balls Mahoney.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Right on. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So. Hey, but what's the little caveat with next week?
We are going to have a special guest.
That's right.
Reckless Robbie is
going to be on the show next week. So look forward to that. He's a great guy.
And he's going to boost all your asses with us.
Your asses are going to be boosted to high heaven. It's going to be like a night at Taco Bell. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, fuck yeah. That's what I'm thinking about right now.
So we will see you guys next week.
We love this show. We love you. And God, this is so fun, guys.
Let's boost some asses, boys.
Too sweet me.
Too sweet. Love you.